Hey guys, this is Gorgo. Joining me today is.
Roger, hey, back again. This is three times in a row. Fucking hat trick.
Yeah, I feel like you're my new co host, but we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, we can talk about that. We can talk about that.
So, guys, this is Roger That coming back again for the eighth time.
I think so.
I think so. I kind of just lost count. I tried to number the episodes, but obviously I suck at life. Anyway, so thanks for joining me again, Roger. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise. So,
Yeah.
yes, you have a point 0.5 episode too. Just wanted you to know that. So,
Oh.
I like it, don't get me wrong. But you have a point 0.5.
Yeah. So, what's been going on with you?
Nothing much. Just living life and kicking ass, taking names. So that's it. That's about it. I recently started training again. I ran a marathon last year, Marine Corps marathon, which is fucking awesome. If anybody wants to run a marathon, I suggest that be your first one, especially any kind of service members or anything like that. It was very inspiring, very uplifting. But I'm running the Diva Marathon with my brother and his wife in a couple months. So I just started running for that, and I realized how out of shape I was. Like 1 mile, and I was like, "Fuck my life."
So,
But
do you get to dress like a woman? Like, why is it the Diva Marathon?
so I think that it's something that happens across the nation, but they apparently they give you like a pink tutu and like you run around with it and stuff during the marathon.
Oh.
So yeah, it's gonna yeah. So obviously I'm gonna get shredded the fuck up, and then I'm only gonna be wearing like the shortest shorts I can find in a pink tutu.
Do it. Do
Oh no.
it.
That's gonna fucking happen.
Make sure
So
you send a lot of snaps so I can be like, yeah, I know him.
bro,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one. It's basically, and I'm looking at like pictures of them. I don't know if this is only for women, but there's nothing but women in all of these pictures. I don't see one fucking man.
Do you
So
know what that
actually,
means for you?
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me just
yeah.
push these bitches over. Wait, what? That's,
That's
that's
cool.
what I
So, my friend and I, we are we're training for a 10K, which pales in comparison to your marathon. So, the last few days I've been running like 4 miles at a time, which isn't that bad. I think next week I'm gonna try to run 5 miles straight and see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that I mean that's exactly how I started off. When I started running before the Marine Corps Marathon, I fucking hated it. Like I did cardio grudgingly 3 times a week maybe. But I think the more you run, the more you like it. But also, you don't have to get up and run, 5, 6 miles continuously. You run, a couple miles every day, and then every week you extend it by a half a mile or a mile. But you save that run for like the longest you can run. So like a Saturday or Sunday, where you're not kind of
Yeah.
pressured by work, and then that becomes your long run, and then you
Mm-hmm.
increase that every week, and then sooner or later you're fucking running half marathons. So it takes time. It's not gonna happen overnight, but if you're doing 4 miles, you're fucking in good shape for that.
Yeah, so my goal is to be able to run a half marathon. The most I've ever ran in like one take is 10 miles, and that
Yeah,
was so fucking tough.
yeah,
So, I have like no desire whatsoever to run an actual marathon, but I think if I get to a half marathon, I'd be, good. Like I would have
yep,
succeeded in life, basically.
yep. You know what kept me going in the marathon?
What?
Carbs and looking at butts. So like that's all I was looking at. Like, oh, look at that butt. Look at that butt. Ooh, there's some Gatorade. Like, look at that butt.
Did
Like that
you
was.
did you stop at all, or did you like run the whole
Oh
time?
yeah, yeah. So like I think every 2 or 3 miles there was either a chance to stop to get like a carb, like a drink, or they were giving out food or
Oh.
restrooms. So but I never felt like I had to walk or stop, but I did just stretch and things like that until I hit like mile 20, and at that point like everything was like uphill or everything was like jolly until I hit that wall, and I was like, fuck my life. Like I stopped, took my fucking shirt off because my nipples hurt so bad.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, actually, when I was walking after the marathon's over, I'm walking, and there's this guy who has a yellow shirt on. It's burned in my brain, and his nipples were bleeding through his shirt.
Oh, that's so fucking
Oh my god.
disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. So marathons are awesome. Do them.
Do them and your nipples will bleed.
Yeah, do it to your
Yay.
nipples bleed. That's not the only thing that bleeds, I'm sure, but like they were giving out like some kind of lube, and I was like, what do I do with this? And I saw people just digging in their crotch with that thing and just slathering that petroleum jelly on their fucking genitals. So like I'm like,
Yeah. I'm sure
this
you
is all
you chafe a lot. Yeah.
yeah, everywhere. So it's just the
Yeah.
nastiest things you've ever seen. But there's opportunities to stop, walk, stretch, use the restroom. So you don't have to feel like you have to run. Oh, I have to run, 12 miles continuously. No, you can stop. Take your time.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick with my dream of a half marathon. Because
Do-
I think the one thing that really keeps me from doing a marathon, which, I mean, obviously we've been doing them for years and years and years, but just like the original marathoner and like how he died after his run.
Yeah, the Bud of Marathon. Yeah, yeah, he ran it. See, I haven't been able to confirm that that's true, but if that is the case of the first marathon running where he fucking died after, then that's that's pretty promoting, right?
But it was like during like the height of, was it the Romans or the Greeks? I feel like it was the
The Greeks. The
Greeks,
Greeks.
yeah. So I mean, he probably didn't have like health care or anything, like good
Yeah.
health care. So
Yeah, the Greek army probably did I think he was from Athens, right? Like he didn't have
yeah,
like the Athenians didn't have they weren't known for like their great fucking healthcare system or like universal healthcare. So that motherfucker just ran.
they
Hey, the
didn't.
Persians died. Okay, and then I'm dead. So
Yeah, see, people, this is what happened when you don't have affordable health care.
you fucking die running. That's what happened.
Oh
Well, what
my
about you?
goodness.
What's going on in your world? Tell me about.
So,
Tell me about.
I guess I can go ahead and share this. It's not a huge deal, but I've been looking into buying a house. So I've been really frustrated with my realtor the past few days. So that's what I've been dealing with, just like trying my best not to strangle her. So yeah, she is just driving me crazy with her uselessness.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
so that's what I've been going through. Oh, and also this just happened like maybe an hour or two ago. I got my first unsolicited dick pic of the year
Whoa, on Snapchat or what?
on Snapchat.
Snapchat, infamous dick pics. Well, okay, so was it? Well, come on, was it a good one? Was it a bad one? Did you recognize it?
I would just say that I've never seen this dick before in my life, so I felt very offended.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was one of those. So like I probably started talking to this guy like a week ago, and it's just like very superficial platonic combo. Nothing even to remotely suggest that I would be interested in seeing his dick. So like when he
No.
sent it, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Delete.
That's where you're wrong. Anytime you talk to a man, that's soliciting a dick pic. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know. Do you guys not get that? We don't, if you talk to us, we taking it that I'm going to fuck. Or at least she wants to see the dick pic. So, talk to a man, get a dick pic. You learn your lesson.
I think you guys need to fix that. I think you need to look deep within yourself and figure that shit out. Because I don't know any girl who wants an unsolicited dick pic. And I don't understand it at all. I'm like, what do they expect to fucking happen? Am I going to look at it and get like super excited and be like, oh, come in my mouth right now. Like, this is the dick for me that I've been waiting for. No. Like, even if it does look good, look, I'll still just be like repulsed. Because
Okay, I get that. I hear you. But, okay, so let's just ask. When was the last time you had sex?
yesterday.
Okay, there you go. So imagine you not having sex for like 2 months, and all of a sudden, some cute guy, that you've talked to for a week, sends you a dick pic. Does your mood then change? Are you not like, oh, well, let me think about this. It's not that veiny, like it's not that small. I could work with that.
It
If
doesn't curve too much.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a total J, but it's leaning that way.
Okay, so this is where I'm like totally like biased as fuck. If the guy is hot and he sends it, I am not as upset. But also, he has to send it and it has to look good. Like, if you look good and you have a baby dick, like, I'm furious. Like, why are you wasting my time looking at this shit? But if he looks good and the dick is beautiful, that's a different story. I'm still not happy about it because to me it says something about their character.
Yeah. Yeah. I think any guy that sends like a unsolicited dick, even like a dick pic in general. I mean, there's that type of guy for that.
I just feel like, like if I've had sex with you and like I'm well acquainted with your dick, like we're good buddies, we get along well, and you send it, I'm okay. Like I know that dick, like that's a friendly dick. But if that's not the case, then no, like I just can't deal.
I got you. No, I'm with you. Yeah. So, moral of the story: don't send. Well, moral of the story is send Gorgo all of your dick pics.
Don't send them. No.
Okay. Never mind.
Ever. If you do, I will destroy you.
You should just start screenshotting them along with their username and then just send them all. Or I guess then you'd be sending dick pics. So I guess that's not the.
I know. Then I'm the perpetrator.
Look at all these dicks.
Look at these dicks I get.
Dicks. Oh, that's the show name. Dicks.
I like it.
Boom.
I like
Damn.
it.
Boom, right there.
It's done. So, pretty big event on Sunday.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Puppy Bowl? The Puppy Bowl.
Avi, what else happened on Sunday other than the Puppy Bowl?
A bunch of ATO fans got pissed the fuck off. Oh man, I feel so bad for Atlanta. But it's
me
like,
too.
It's like their history to like blow a 25-point lead. I mean, you knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. I was actually talking to one of my friends. I called him up like before the second half, and I was like, man, watch out, they're gonna come back, like greatest comeback in history. He was laughing his ass off, and he hasn't talked to me since. So.
I had a feeling that, like, during halftime, I was like, somebody's going to stick their foot so far up somebody's ass, and the Patriots are going to come back with a vengeance. But I didn't think that they were going to win. Like, I thought they were going to make it really, really close, but not win.
Yeah, once Edelman made that fucking, like, spectacular-ass, like, off-the-foot catch, like, your momentum's on your side, you're going to fucking win. And then they won the coin toss, and they won the ball. Like, that's winner shit right there. Don't get it wrong. I fucking wanted Atlanta to win so bad. I think you saw it on the Instagram post. Like, I thought that, Houston was going to blow up if Atlanta won. The strippers were going to be out, like fucking champagne. It was going to be like I might have called into work. Like, it was going to be the party of the century if Atlanta had all the trap music that they were going to play.
I know.
And then they lost, and strippers went home. They put their clothes on, They went and did their. They
didn't play Bad and Bougie, the trap anthem.
You know what? If Migos would have performed at that halftime show, I think Atlanta would have had a better chance.
That would have given them the boost that they needed.
That would have. But they had that Lady Gaga inclusion rah shit, and which I love Lady Gaga. If you've never seen her in an actual person concert, she's fucking amazing. But still, it would have been good to see some Migos up there, also Bad and Bougie.
I would have actually liked some variety during the halftime show. I feel like all the ones in the past, they've had like 2 or 3 artists. I didn't care for it just being her. Like, I love Lady Gaga. But I was just like, meh, whatever.
Yeah, I think, but the best thing about, obviously football for football's sake is awesome, but the amount of food you get to eat and not feel as bad about it. Like, I'm like 50% fried food and beer right now still. Like, I'm still trying to fucking wear this shit off, That's pretty much why I've tried to stick to my diet these past 2 days and actually give running another chance. So that's just because of Super Bowl Sunday. But also, hey, my idea, Pigskin Monday, right? Like, Monday should be a fucking day off. It should be a national.
What the fuck is
holiday.
Pigskin Monday?
We can make that like a thing. You have Black Friday or whatever the fuck it is. Cyber Monday. Just like a national holiday, Pigskin Monday.
But why pigskin? I was trying
because football is it's a pigskin.
Oh, like the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking like something pink, or like how people eat like the fried pig skins. I forgot what they're called.
Oh, pork rinds.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Those are fucking delicious, by the way.
I was like, I don't get it, but okay.
Yeah, pigskin football. So let's see. Let's look at holidays that can go to the wayside and be taken over by at the day after Super Bowl. Veterans Day. Oh, that's important, right?
That's a very
Columbus
important.
Day. Columbus Day. Come on, that's
Okay.
the national
I
holiday.
No. I think
This day
Columbus Day should be
commemorates.
the first one to go.
Yeah, the day commemorates the day when Christopher Columbus first set foot in the Americas. Fuck that. Let's change that. Let's add. Let's take that one off. Let's go ahead and
And
add
do
day after
pigskin.
Super Bowl.
We're just gonna rewrite everything. Fuck you, Columbus, and your diseases and your bad navigation.
Yep,
So he's out
exactly.
of here.
President's Day next. I'm looking at you. But
Right?
do we really need a day to celebrate a bunch of white people? I mean, we'll but like, like,
Yes, yes, they need a day because they freaking lose their shit. You
they
know
have,
what? Their fucking day is in our month. I
yeah.
just realized
Oh,
that.
hell no. Hell no. They would do that shit. They would make you
I
celebrate a bunch of white people in the middle of Black History Month. Ain't that some shit?
That is some shit. I better not hear shit from another white person complaining about Black History Month. Like, look, y'all have this fucking holiday. Dead smack in the middle. Shut up.
Yep.
You get every other day.
I know. I know what you're talking about.
Man.
Me being a Mexican person, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Hey, you have a Mexican Heritage Month, right? Is it September? I was gonna say May just because it's Cinco de Mayo, but I was like, that's slightly racist. I think it's in September.
September 15th to October 15th in
Yeah,
the
that's.
States. Yep. I didn't even know that. I'm glad this is news to me.
I'm
So
dropping this knowledge on ya.
I've been Hispanic my whole life and I didn't know this. So
I work at a very PC job, so I have to be aware of like all this shit.
how do you work in a PC job? I think you're one of the most un-PC people that.
It's so hard. You have no idea. Like sometimes I just sit in my office like, fuck these people, fuck this job. I
Yeah.
can't stand. It's so hard. It's very hard. But it's nice to know that I can do it. So like I can wear like the double hats. I'm kind of like a
Oh
double
yeah,
agent, you know.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. So you kind of have to hide yourself when you're in the office, right? Like the way that I act and talk in the office, and maybe I'm sure it's the same for you, is not the way that I go home and like hang out with my friends, right? You just don't do. You just don't do it, right? I mean,
I obviously. I mean, if people in my office knew how I
yeah.
actually was, I probably wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, it's same here. So I try to like not let people into my social media life, you know. The most I'll let them get into sometimes is like Instagram because my Instagram is pretty tame, you know, but like my Facebook pops off and I don't even do it. You know, my Snapchat's always popping off, so I keep that separate,
Oh
you know.
yeah, they're definitely not getting on my Snapchat.
Yep.
And I have a professional Facebook, so I don't worry about that. I post like once every 6 months just to keep it active.
Always some like uplifting shit.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that was a great article she shared. I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulling the wool over their eyes every day.
Wow.
Oh man. So okay, so Sunday was a big day, and then I feel like today was a big day too, with the confirmation of Betsy. Oh, Betsy.
Betsy. Yep. Oh, how did you feel about that? I don't think we talked about
Yeah.
what you
So
felt about that.
I think my issue with her was just that she didn't have any education experience and that she's never had like any public school experience. And like that's one of the big things that they do. Like a portion of their funding goes to school districts, especially those with low income students. So that was my concern. I think that was probably a lot of people's concerns, and also that teacher unions don't really like her. But I also have this opinion. Well, we've had these secretaries of education before, and it doesn't really seem like the education system is getting better. It's like the U.S. is constantly falling further and further behind other nations. So I don't know, maybe they need somebody in there to shake it up. I don't know if she's necessarily the right person or not. I mean, this whole administration is about shaking things up, it seems. So I'll be interested to see what happens, but I'm not sure that she would work in the best interest of students.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I could see that argument also. but at the same time, like I think, like you said, I mean, our education system is broken. So doing the same thing, is that going to get you the result that you want? I mean, isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but I think it's interesting that she's a champion of like private schools or vouchers for private schools. But also the big thing for me was charter schools. Like I'm a product of a charter school. For my
Oh.
Yeah, for my high school, Challenge Early College High School. So I went to it's a school here in Houston, and basically what they it's a separate, it's still in the Houston Independent School District, but it's a separate school that at my time you had to apply to go into. And so I didn't go to my zone school, for high school. My mom was like, hey, obviously I wanted to follow my friends and be like, hey, let's stay on the block. But she was like, no, go to this school and at least apply for it. And I got in, and it was like one of the greatest things ever, because at the same time where I was getting basically the thing for early colleges are you can graduate with your associate's degree at the same time as you graduate your diploma. And usually they actually get their associate's degree before they get their high school diploma. So that puts you at a step above, saves you a bunch of money. All those credits are directly transferable, and that's where I see like this being a good boost for children, in general, because a lot of these public schools that people are zoned into aren't the best, or I see that they teach for the test, right? They teach for the tax test, the STAR test, whatever the fuck the name is now. But
Uh-huh.
at charter schools, like or the ones that I've been a part of, it's a little bit different. Whereas the kids there, they care. They're gonna do well in their STAR tests, their standardized tests. So they teach them for beyond that. They teach them to aspire to college. They teach them to go to a community college. They teach them beyond that, and that's why I like that, and that's why I think this will be interesting for kids in general. Public
So
schools are broken. Let's try something else.
So I'm curious, and this is probably where I have another bit of an issue. So like, if
Mm,
you can choose what school you go to, let's say, I mean, I don't know how it would work, but let's say, X amount of students decided not to go to this one school. Does that school then lose funding and then has like I guess like not as good of teachers, not as good of an educational program? Like, how
mm,
does that, like, it sounds good in theory of you choosing to go to what school you want to, but for those who can't for whatever reason, does that detract from their education experience because the school loses funding, or the school loses those maybe like not necessarily top tier teachers, but like those teachers who really care versus like the teachers who, probably couldn't find a job anywhere else, but nobody wants to go to this school, so the credentials aren't as high. Like, does that put those students at a disadvantage?
What I think is that public schools are going to get the Teach for America teachers anyways, right? The teachers or the student teachers or the teachers that are there, because this is a stepping stone for something else, a different career, a job in a better school district or school. They're always going to have that there. But the private schools already have the good teachers. So if you give more students access, and the charter schools, already have access to the good teachers. So if you give more students access to those programs, then you're just giving them a leg up for people that already are at a bit of a disadvantage. I've met people that went to private school when I was in public school, and the way that they carry themselves, or the way they speak, or the way their education, you can tell that they're educated, just as well as public school people. But they just, when I would go to Episcopal high school, they just seem different, And I look at me and my friends like, we're different than you guys, and maybe that's socioeconomics as well. But
See, I almost feel like
it
that's
helps.
gonna help widen that wage gap and
Mm.
widen that social class gap. I just, I don't know if this makes me like a socialist or
It's free
whatever.
market. It's free
It
markets, and
is, it is.
that's what she's bringing into. It's like a very Milton Friedman like esque like approach to schools, right? Where you let the free markets decide, where you let the parents decide, where you let the students decide. But the more options you give students and parents, the better off everyone's going to be. If I'm in elementary and I know what middle school I'm going to, what high school I'm going to, and there's no room for me to grow, or maybe I want to go to a school that specializes in computers. Maybe I want to go somewhere where it's art school. Why do I have to stay and conform to what the system says I have to? But the kids and the parents that don't want to progress past that, fine. But we're giving you the options that you can. We're
Oh,
giving you the
yeah.
choice.
That's
And
a good point to give
I
them a
think
choice, and if they
give them a
take it or
choice.
not, that's on them.
Be,
But
be,
yeah, oh yeah,
because the people that have the means, they have the choice, and they definitely take it. So why not give people that wouldn't have the choice that actual choice too?
and you actually brought up a good point. I think
I
it's in
doubt that.
Mex. Yeah, no, you did. I think it's in Mexico and maybe somewhere in Europe too, where like they actually they like test the kids in vocational studies to see where they would fit, and then they cater their studies to that vocation. So instead of taking like fucking algebra for 2 years that you're never going to use in real life, they can take welding and classes that deal with welding and whatever are the building blocks so that they can become a welder. And then
Yeah,
once they finish, then like they're already trained in this profession and they can go out and find a job. So I
yeah,
think leaning more towards that would be good, especially
yeah.
for some kids that really don't aspire to do much. But also, to that point, I wanted to say I grew up in like a middle class, maybe lower middle class neighborhood. So obviously the schools weren't that great.
Hmm.
But I was always top of my class, and this is me like bragging just a little bit, but
Humble
like,
brag. Humble brag.
but one of my favorite days of the year was awards day, at the end of the year, because I knew that I would be called like at least 10 times to get an award for, whatever. And so, I was always in like those accelerated classes, the AP classes, and I was in
Hmm.
Open Doors, which is a program for gifted students.
Hmm.
And so actually in third grade, I had the opportunity to test to get into the school. I guess it was kind of like a charter school, but it was
Hmm.
a school for academics and performing arts. And I believe I was the only person selected from my school. So I ended up going to that school for about 5 years. And
Hmm.
that was probably honestly one of the best experience of my life, because like I was around people who cared about their education as much
Yep.
as I did, versus like the goofballs all the time that
Yep.
always
Yep.
wanted to cheat off me. So I went there for academics, and then later on I got into the theater program. So I was doing academics and theater, and that was the quality of education was so much better. So like
Hmm.
I definitely understand school choice, and also I don't know.
But yeah.
It does make sense. And I did that up through middle school, and then we moved out to the country.
Ugh.
And let me tell you, the school system out there was garbage.
You
Like,
were like the teacher. You were like the student and the
basically,
teacher.
like when I got there, like I was actually like a year advanced from the grade that I was in.
Hmm.
And so like I did that for like a year, and I was like, fuck this. I got to go to private school. So I
All
tried.
this shit you're talking about, all
I
this,
know.
and you did everything. You were top of your class. You went to charter school, and then you went to private school, and you're giving this bitch shit.
Well,
You
because
agree with that?
I still think about the people who are left behind, who
Uh,
don't have those options, who don't have
like,
those choices, and that's what concerns me.
see,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
what will we do for those students?
See,
And it
that's
may be, I don't know.
yeah. Go on.
I'm done. You can talk now.
I see why you're a better person than I am, because like I look at that and my situation, I was like, well, I did it, so you could too. I'm from the same shitty middle class, lower class neighborhood that you were. But the difference though, honestly, my parents really gave a fuck. I didn't care about school; they cared about school for me, and it made me want to do it. I'll never stop going to school. I want to go all the way up. PhD, all that good shit that takes forever and leaves you broke. Like those are things that they instilled in me for some reason that I still enjoy. But you can't hold yourself and other people back just because some people don't want that. And like you said, maybe people want vocational training. Maybe that's a way that they want to go about. You brought up other places in the world. Actually, Germany, how they're all super precision and manufacturing like juggernaut. They have close ties with their secondary schools, like colleges, and especially their community colleges that local companies go and they partner with these schools to not only give them, an education after high school, but also to teach them a type of vocation, and then they directly hire them from those community colleges and things. So those are things that we can implement here, that maybe you don't want to go to a four-year university. Maybe you don't want a fucking PhD and be broke the rest of your life. Maybe you want to go and work, and that's fine. And there's ways to do that. And I think that this is a start to something that can continue and give people a career, an education and a career, that wouldn't otherwise have it.
Yeah, true. We will see what happens. I'll be very interested to see what happens with this.
You know what's gonna happen? Nothing.
It's gonna be the exact same.
Yeah. She ain't gonna do shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't do anything. We'll see.
Did you see that? That interview where they were just grilling her? And
yeah.
She was like, because there's a bear, she was like,
to save them from grizzlies. Bears. I was like, what? This is who you pick? Oh God.
But the thing about the Trump administration and Trump in general, and I guess America, or half of America, is we're out of the state where you have to ask for credentials or a resume or work history, right? Like, as long as you have money and you can get anything you want. That's what this election taught me. As long as you're fucking rich, you can get anything you want without, the necessary skills or requirements. So this is perfect. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's my new goal in life, is just to be rich, and like people won't ask me fucking questions. And if they do, I'm like, you see all this money I got, bitch? Shut up.
Sugar, debt. Yeah, I mean, Betsy's like super rich. Her husband is like the Amway like co-founder. He was like the president of Amway, which is like, I don't know. I think it's like super knockoff or like fitness products that they sell. It's like a pyramid.
Oh, that, like, yeah. I've had like 3 friends who sold products through them.
Oh God, I cannot stand people that sell that shit. But anyway, I just can't. Like,
go to my website and buy. Like, no, I'm not buying. Like, if I want something, I'm gonna go to GNC.
Yeah, and just watch what you eat. Like, it's about watching your calories and making sure your caloric intake is not as much as what you burn off. Like, it's not that hard. It's not rocket science. People are like, I need all these to get healthy. No, you need to stop eating, fat ass. I'm the same way. I gained like 15 pounds, but I think I call it bulking, but it was amazing. I missed it so much. And her brother was the founder of Blackwater or Blackstone. Yeah, so like the private security contractors. So I mean, she got nothing but money. She got stupid money. Fuck, she has filthy money. Well, I wonder if she's on Sugar Mama. I'm trying to find her ass.
Hey, yeah, just slide some over here.
Oh, I'll slide it.
You slide it. So, oh my goodness. I don't even know what to talk about next.
So much to talk about, so little.
There is so much to talk about. I didn't realize when I was like making this list, and like we go off on like such long tangents too. So
I'm sorry. That's one thing. I think my life is one long tangent.
So okay, we could do Sanctuary Cities. We could do the Bowling Green Massacre.
I haven't really looked into that too much, or heard much about it. Maybe you can give me some background.
Which one?
About the Bowling Green Massacre. I just saw that there was like a big GoFundMe or something.
I first heard about this through Twitter. It was trending, and I was like, "What the fuck? What is the Bowling Green Massacre?" I don't recall this. And apparently, Kellyanne Conway, which was Donald Trump's communications spokeswoman. Mm-hmm. So on several occasions, she mentioned this Bowling Green Massacre in defense of Trump's ban on the 7 countries?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 7 Muslim majority countries. So she was using that in defense of why he basically signed off on this ban. And so people started to look into it, like, what the hell is Bowling Green Massacre? And so there's some debate like that maybe she misspoke, but since she actually said massacre like on more than one occasion, they suspect that she was just lying. But anyway, she was referring to the 2 Iraqis that were detained that were in Bowling Green, who had ties to ISIS, I believe, and who were part of. Apparently, they'd gone to the Middle East and they had trained with ISIS, and they were going to come back and, plot out some terrorist attack. And she mentioned something about them taking soldiers' lives. So people looked into this and found out, obviously, there's no such thing as the Bowling Green massacre, and that there weren't really any, I don't think, many ties for these 2 Iraqis. Like, they found their fingerprints on some IED material, but they couldn't link anything together, so there was that. And obviously social media took it and ran with it. There are some pretty hilarious tweets out there.
Oh, I gotta look these up. But this plays right. I mean, why are we surprised at this point? 2 or 3 weeks into this dude's fucking stint as our president, and we're still shocked by his alternative facts. This dude's making his own. He's making his own facts. They're Trump alternative facts. That's basically. We're living in an alternative America right now. That's how I see it. This is not America. This is alternative America. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think the big thing is, these are the people who are top level of our country. And whether they're intentionally lying or they don't know their talking points well enough, to me, it sends a message of incompetence. Am I going to listen to somebody who keeps talking about something that didn't happen? Or am I going to listen to somebody who's well-versed and know what they're talking about, and we can verify the things that they're saying? I think it just creates a lot of unease and a lot of uncertainty about this administration. I keep saying I'll be interested to see what happens, but I'm actually kind of scared to see what happens. I've heard a lot of talk about Trump acting more like a dictator than a president, and this could easily become like a police state nation. So there's all these theories that are floating around, which I can't say if they floated around when Obama was elected. I'm sure they were the same ones, especially with him having, the name, like a Muslim name, people thinking that this was going to be a Muslim country. So, there are always going to be your conspiracy theorists out there. But, now that I'm actually paying attention, I'm like, this is setting a dangerous precedent. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
It's going to be interesting to see, where our country lies. I mean, in the next 4 years, to
and especially since it seems like people really aren't keeping him in check, and those who try to keep him in check end up fired. It's almost like a Putin thing, except they're not dying. They're just losing their jobs. So it's on a much lower, less severe scale, but there's retaliation if you don't go with the administration.
Yep, if you don't go with it, you get fired, right?
Yeah, and that's pretty scary.
But and that's like the House and Senate's job, is to keep him in check. But I mean, when the Republicans control everything,
what you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Oh man, yeah. So I heard this really interesting story, and I know you don't want to talk about it, but I just want you to know, I fucking love science. And I just think this is so interesting. So apparently scientists have started growing human organs inside pigs.
Oh my God.
Inside the pig embryo. I just think that's so cool.
That's so
it's scary, but it's cool. And I had this theory too. So I read a lot of science fiction. And I have this theory that science fiction authors, maybe they got their ideas from somebody in the future. They had a dream, or maybe they encountered somebody and they were just having a conversation. And they're like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll write it in a book. Because a lot of things that were made back in the 80s or early 90s are coming true now. So I just love it.
Oh, I love science fiction. But when we start putting fucking cognitive thought, like, like thoughts and ideas in pigs' minds and shit. Like, at what point are they more human or pig, or more human? Like, at one point do they like have their own perception of what the fuck they are, and that's when they're gonna come and revolt. And
So
that's
the pigs revolt.
I don't give a shit, man. Oh God, I'll run. You know how much bacon I've eaten in my life? Oh God, they're coming for me, Roger.
You're over with. You're over with. But so actually, what they're doing is they're trying to grow organs that people need for a transplant. Mm-hmm. So like every 10 minutes, a person is added to the waiting list for organ transplant. Yeah. And every day, 22 people die because they're waiting for organs. So they're trying to find a way to generate new organs quickly so that maybe we don't lose as many people.
I understand that all day. And if there's a family member, or someone has a family member, or they themselves are needing an organ, I'm sure that's, I mean, that could be your only alternative. But at the same time, is what do people do? They get old and they die. Like, we are not meant to live forever. We're infinite. We shouldn't be trying to play God by creating whole organs inside of other like sentient type beings. Like that. I
just feel like, why would God give us this knowledge if He didn't want us to try it out?
Oh, we're past what God wanted to give us. Like, humans are gonna if the only thing that's gonna make us extinct is ourselves. Like, we're too smart. We're too smart for our own good. Like the science leaps and bounds. So you open that Pandora's box and you don't get back in. Like, once we start doing that, where does it stop? What else are we gonna put shit into? But I think it's a very slippery slope, and that's my problem with it. That once you go down that rabbit hole, there's no going back. And wasn't there already a ban on this type of research? So someone's already thought of this. Someone already thought that, hey, that's a bad idea. But now I guess they're opening it up. When you told me about this, I looked it up and it was actually fucking interesting as shit. I read like 3 articles. When you told me. I was like, this is awesome. I was at work.
Yeah, so I think it's actually banned in the U.S., but other countries that don't have as many ethical
morals.
Ethical ladder to climb, just like, hey, yeah, do it. They've actually started the process. I think it's cool. I think it's gonna save lives. I'm excited about it. They're not trying to make hybrid human pigs. What would we call them?
Pig humans? Man pigs? Man pigs.
Man pigs, yes.
Oh, man bear pigs. What if we do a man bear pig, like from the Simpsons movie? Man bear pig. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I'm down with that. But here's my thing. When you have to go out of your country to go to like Mexico or China or fucking Russia to do science, you probably shouldn't be doing that science in the first place. There's a reason why we have it banned here.
Wait, so are you saying that America is the moral compass on science?
I think America is the moral pillar of the world. We are Rome. We are Rome, girl.
And you know what happened to Rome?
Yeah, it's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it got stacked.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure that we're clear here.
I know.
But anyway, so that's my interesting weird story for the week. I love it. I'm so for it.
When you told me about it and I read it and I was like, what the fuck? I think I even wrote that in the show notes. I was like, why?
Yeah.
But then the more I wrote about it, the New Yorker has a really good story about that, I think. Or it was Wired. Sorry, Wired has a really good story about it. That's why I read it, and I was like, this is awesome.
And so I'll read that piece. I didn't read it. I was reading something from, I think, like ABC or something. But when you wrote why, I responded, haha, because science.
Because science.
Because science. So I wanted to talk about Trump tweet, just because what would our lives be like without Trump tweets? It was actually the one that I sent you. I just thought it was so hilarious.
I think that every week he'll give us, really good off on,
Yeah, no. Okay, so this is what he tweeted today. Yeah, he tweeted this today. It says, I don't know Putin, have no deals in Russia, and the haters are going crazy. Yet Obama can make a deal with Iran, #1 in terror, no problem. And one of my friends, he responded, I love Barack, but he never called out his haters on social media. Maybe Trump actually is our first black president. Hashtag haters are going crazy. Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers.
Oh man, Meek Mills and Drake all over again. This is awesome. I'm looking at #1 terror. No, I don't know Putin. But the thing is, every time I read Trump tweets, I read them as he would say them because he types as he talks. I don't know Putin. I have no deals in Russia. Haters are going crazy.
Oh man, maybe I should. Okay, so next time we do them, we'll read them in his voice.
Hold on, let me find it. Okay, let me try to. This is from 2 hours ago. It is a disgrace that my full cabinet is not in place. The longest such delay in the history of our country. Obstructions by Democrats. No, that wasn't as good. He didn't.
You tried.
Yeah, he speaks in short phrases and he puts commas after everything, which is actually how I talk too.
So funny to me. Oh man, such an interesting president.
He's 3 weeks in and already he's given us a lot of good shit to talk about and amazing memes. Have you seen? I predicted this, that we were going to have some great Donald Trump memes. One of my favorite is the executive order when he puts the binder up, and one of them was a bunch of Pokemon cards.
Oh, I saw that one.
I fucking literally almost died. I was in a car and I was laughing so hard, I swear. I was like, oh shit.
Have you been to, I think it's trumpdonald.org?
Oh, but I need to.
Do it right now. Do it right now.
trumpdonald.org?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a .org site. So is it educational or is it
I'll let you decide for yourself.
Oh my god, oh, no. Oh, this is amazing. If you haven't been there, I suggest you go to trumpdonald.org. This is what I'm going to do all night.
Oh my god, I did it for like 10 minutes and it was not getting old and I was just like, who made this?
Whoever made that is amazing. Trumpdonald. Go there, you will not be mad about that.
No, I think it will add a little bit of brightness to your day.
And
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I was getting a little jaded talking about Donald Trump, and then you came with that.
I'm kind of like, I'm tired of talking about Donald Trump, but it's like there's always something. It's like you can't help it.
Yeah, there's always something to talk about, and there's always something to get mad at, and I think that we're seeing that, especially in Houston over the Super Bowl weekend. Oh God, like parts of Houston were just shut down, just the amount of protesters out there and things like that. So.
I can imagine.
It was definitely interesting. So, I mean, if all those people, like I said, were pissed off, 4 months ago, the election might have been different. But people are lazy and they want to get mad after the fact. It's done. Get over it. Let's try to come together. And if Lady Gaga can put aside her political differences, because that chick wanted to make a statement, but she didn't. Her message in the Super Bowl, and that's what I liked. It was about inclusion, about America, about we're all in it together. And Lady Gaga's not a Donald Trump supporter, right? I mean, I would think she's
Avi.
Right. Yeah. So, but she brought it upon herself to not make a political statement, but to say, hey, we're in this together. Let's all do it together. And that's kind of where I'm going with it now.
And then people fat shamed her because she had like a little bit of flat. See, that's what happens.
A little fat. What are you talking about? That was like a full blown fupa. Like that was like a fupa on top of a fupa. And there's nothing wrong with that,
We do not body shame on this show. Unless we're talking about ourselves.
You shouldn't have to conform to whatever society says beauty is. I understand. And I agree with that. My dog is fat. I try to body shame her all the time. I'm like, you're fat. And she doesn't care, So I live with that,
She's like, bitch, you keep feeding me, so.
But I thought that was kind of like a good a good, a good sentiment, that she didn't give a shit, that she went out there and she, had a big ass pooch and she didn't give a shit. And she still looked hot.
Yeah, she definitely looked hotter than everyone who was body shaming her. So ridiculous. So you brought up your dog.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My dog. I have two dogs. I have a kind of like a pound mix. She's a part lab, part pit bull, and a Shiba Inu. So he's very much the he's like a cat, you know. He meows and he just kind of he's actually looking at me right now like fuck you. And
I really like Shebas. I knew this girl who had one, and it would. I don't know if this is just like a characteristic of the dog, but he would just like lay down on the ground and just look around at
basically.
everything. And then when
Hmm.
somebody came close, he'd like growl at him. And
Hmm.
then like he'd walk over to her when he was ready to go. And that was
Yep.
it.
Basically, that's basically Mr. Miyagi. I mean, Japanese, right? So obviously his name is Mr. Miyagi. But that's basically what he does. You know, he's very opinionated. You know, he's very strong-willed, but he's very smart. So he knows what I want him to do, but he doesn't want to do it until he wants to do it. You know, so he's a little dick like that. But also, have you ever seen the movie Hachi? It's
Hmm.
the American version, right? But it's a true story. Like there's a shrine at that station of the dog there, and you know that dog. I don't want to ruin it for you, but they
Yeah,
actually.
I've seen it and I cried.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I felt that lump in my throat, and that's when I knew I'd get a Shiba. But actually, in the movie, they used, I believe, an Akita, so it's a bigger, you know, it's not the exact Shiba breed, which I thought was kind
Yeah.
of lame. But when you see a Shiba in real life, you're like, where the fuck is the rest of you? Like when I saw him, I was like, where's the rest? But you know, he's the
Cause
normal size.
they're like what,
They're
like 20, 30 pounds? They're not that big,
at the
right?
most, like soaking wet. You know, they're like 12 to 14 inches tall, and he's you know definitely a little thing. But actually, so I'd only had him for a little while, right? I mean, I've only had him for maybe like 6 or 7 months. But I actually got a it's not a Roomba, but you know that type of vacuum. It's called a Deep.
Mm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
got it, and I was like, man, my dogs are gonna go fucking crazy when this thing comes, right? So I get it, and I'm all like, super excited about like, yeah, yeah, I'm never gonna have to vacuum again, which I do not have to vacuum, which is awesome. But unbeknownst to me, they had taken a huge shit in the restroom, and this D-bot is going around, it's going ham, and it's like on its maiden voyage around the house, right? Like fresh out the box, I put the wheels on this motherfucker, and it hits a big ass pile of shit, and it goes around my
Aw.
entire house, just crapping everywhere. I was in the orifice of this fucking machine, like with a toothpick and a toothbrush, trying to get all this poop. I was tempted to just send it back to Amazon, like, "Hey, bro, it came like this. I don't know what you guys are trying to pull on this on me, but this
This
thing
is
came with a
not
bunch of
cool.
shit." And then Miyagi looked at me. You know, he gave me that look, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, do it again, bitch." You know, like that type of thing. And he did that shit on purpose. They never crap in the house, but he was like, "You know what? You want to
He's
get that?
gonna.
Yeah."
He was like, "You gonna learn
You're
today."
gonna learn today. So, like, bring it back to what we said earlier. They train us as much as we train them. You know,
Yeah.
he
It's
crapped everywhere and let that thing smear all over the fucking house.
it's so funny. So like, my dogs are pretty well trained. Like, we haven't had an accident in the house in probably about 7 or 8 months now.
Yeah, that's good.
And but one of my dogs, my Australian Shepherd, he loves to like chew on things. So I had a package and I was lazy as fuck. So I just like left it on the floor. And I was like, I'll pick it up later. And so like I left and I came back and he like ripped it to shreds. He tore up the package. He tore up what was inside of the package. So like as soon as I walked in and I saw this mess, I was like, fucking shit. And I just looked. And then like he's so cute, but he's so like telltale. Like as soon as I like looked around, his tail like went in between his legs.
Oh,
He like put his head down. And my other dog, that's a husky, he like looked at him, he looked at me, and he just walked away. He was like,
fuck
"I'm
you.
not in this shit." It was so funny.
I
He was
love
like,
how they can
"Mm-mm."
just melt your heart, right? Like super, like fast. It's just you're done.
Oh yeah, it's so annoying sometimes because like you just really want to like put the smack down on him, but
Yeah,
you're like, man,
yeah.
those eyes.
Yeah.
I can't.
So Miyagi, he's like a he likes to get out and he likes to go. Like this, if you leave the door open for too long, he's fucking down the block. And he's so wily and fast that one time he shook me so hard that I fell. Like I was stance, super wide, and it was just me and him on the street, and I was trying to anticipate where he was gonna juke, and then he juked to the left, and he got me right. I'm like on the floor, and then and then he does that to me a few times. So I'm like, all right, bitch, you can only go left. So then the next time I anticipated his left, and I overreacted there. This motherfucker did a double back, and then went right. This motherfucker. You know what it is? I put on football and I leave the house. So I think that he's been watching too much football. He got those moves right, and now he's so agile that now he's in the room licking me. But every time he does that, I'm like, oh, I'm so mad at you. And then I bring him home, and then he does something super cute, like meow at me, and then I'm like, oh,
just
it's okay.
put that Sarah McLachlan commercial on loop when you leave.
Right.
Oh man. So since it is Black History Month when we're recording, I don't know when you guys are listening to it, but it is Black History Month 2017. I just wanted to highlight somebody in Black history, and I think it's very fitting for this episode too. So in this episode, I'm gonna highlight a man named Robert Smalls. He was born into slavery in South Carolina. During and after the American Civil War, he became a ship's pilot, a sea captain, and a politician. So this was like late 1800s. So we got a pilot, a sea captain, and a politician as a Black guy. So I think that's awesome in itself. So he ended up freeing himself and his crew and their families from slavery back in 1862 when he led an uprising aboard a Confederate transport ship, the CSS Planter. You know what? I wouldn't have even been on that ship, Planter.
Nice. Planter. Fuck that.
Fuck that shit. In the Charleston Harbor, and he sailed it north to freedom. So once he did this, this actually helped persuade President Abraham Lincoln to accept African American soldiers into the Union Army. So that's pretty awesome. And as a politician, he actually authored state legislation that gave South Carolina the first free and compulsory public school system in the U.S. How about that? And
Wow.
then here comes fucking Betsy. She's just gonna run it into the ground even more.
And here comes Betsy.
See, Black people can't have shit.
They can't have shit without white person trying to fuck it all up, man. Ain't that some shit?
I think that was pretty cool. So, like, he was partially responsible for, like, the first free public school system, and then Betsy is probably going to end the public school system in the U.S.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with you saying that. But I think it's not only important to, like, remember, like, the people that did great things and, invented and were awesome, but also people that in our history, especially, like, Black history, that contributed without meaning to contribute at all. There's this podcast episode on the Hidden Brain. It released, I believe, on Monday. It's called Remembering Anarcha, and I think that if anyone has 20 minutes to spend on a podcast, that'd be a really good one. And it was
they should spend like 5 hours on everything NPR.
Yeah,
honestly,
NPR's Hidden Brain, and the latest episode was actually talking about it was even such a thing as gynecology, and there was this like super awesome doctor. I forgot his name off the top of my head, but basically he did all these. He advanced gynecology so far, but it was on the backs of actually slave Black women, that he experimented on. So even
oh wow,
yeah, and actually, so he was trying to do this specific surgery, and he actually had to do it on 30 different women before he was successful for the first time. But still, people, and he's not remembered for that. He's remembered for his great accomplishments to gynecology and health in general. So I think that it's an interesting parallel and something that we might not know, but shouldn't also forget. It's definitely in our history, and never forget.
Never forget.
Mm-hmm. Also, another side topic on that. So they say that on the episode, they actually made a point that Black people receive less pain medication than white people. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
And fucked up.
Yep. Yeah. And fucked
Interesting
up.
and fucked up.
Yeah, well, the research is new, but the phenomenon is not. It's been going on forever. Yeah, so I think that was pretty interesting.
I love our little history lessons. Maybe we should make this a part of the show. I
Yeah,
like educating people. And I like being educated myself, obviously, from all of my trophies back in middle school and elementary. I'm here for education.
I'm here for the free education.
That's gonna do it for us this week, you guys. Don't forget that we are on social media, so go find us. Roger That Podcast. Type it up. It's pretty simple. Follow our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. If you want to, you can follow me on Twitter at NotYour_Queen. I try to post funny shit when I can. I'm gonna get better at it. Probably not, but just follow me anyways. We are on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, basically anywhere where podcasts can be found. You can find us there. If you have any questions for us, send us an email. Actually, you know what I want to do one of these days? I want to do like a show with questions from listeners and just like give them really bad advice.
Read my mind.
Because I think I'd be really good at giving them very bad advice.
I love giving people advice that they're not going to follow, and also that they shouldn't follow.
Right.
So I think that would be. I think just taking listener kind of questions or listener comments in general would be good. You know, obviously they're not going to be very good. They're going to be like, Roger sucks, dick. You know, I'm ready for those, right? But you know, send some good ones our way, and we'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah, and if you think I sound hot, you can send me an email saying that too. Like I don't mind.
Along with a dick pic.
Yes. And that email is rogerthatpodcast@gmail.com. Do you have anything else you want to add, Roger?
No, I think you covered it all. The Roger That Podcast on Instagram. I think that'd be a good vehicle of information diffusion. You keep it pretty regular with timely topics like the Super Bowl and the recent Secretary of Education promotion.
I try really hard. I'm gonna try harder, but you know.
No,
I got a whole shit to do too, so I have to balance out my time.
Well, you know, I can help you out with that then. Not with the
All
whole
right.
shit.
Aw. All right, guys. That's it. Gorgo out.